land is ours! Take it back! We are your instruments of war! We are ready! We are ready! Our blades are yours!
For centuries, the Great Desert remained divided between two powers. To the east lived the Silver Warriors, protectors of the land, guardians of peace, warriors who fought only to defend their people, their families, and their homeland. Their swords were raised not for conquest, but for survival. But beyond the dark mountains, another force was rising. The Black Warriors, an army feared across every desert and valley. They did not come to protect, they came to conquer. Where they marched, cities burned, kingdoms fell, and fear followed behind them like a shadow. Now, the Black Army moves toward the Silver Kingdom. One side fights for peace, the other fights for power. And the desert is about to witness a war that will decide everything. This war is not for winning only, but to remove the enemy from Earth. Black warriors preparing their generation from decades to fight and remove others from this land. Win was never a goal. On the other hand, silver warriors fighting for peace on the earth. In the endless deserts beyond the mountains, there existed a land built on honor, sacrifice, and blood. For generations, the Silver Kingdom stood unconquered. Its warriors were not raised for power, they were raised to protect their people. Every child knew the oath: our land or our lives. But far beyond the Black Mountains, another force was rising. A brutal army with no mercy, no laws, and no fear, only conquest. They came from burned lands and forgotten deserts where survival created monsters. The Black Army marched with one purpose: to take everything. Villages disappeared beneath their horses, cities turned to ash.
We push through the main gate here.
But we must secure the supply lines first. Agreed.
Wherever their dark riders appeared, death followed. Their king believed only one thing: peace belongs to the weak. Only fear creates empires. When news of the invasion reached the Silver Kingdom, war drums echoed through every valley. Fathers sharpened swords beside their sons. Mothers tied armor onto trembling warriors. Throughout the desert camps, one question filled the air: will we survive? But the Silver Commander did not speak of fear. He spoke of home. Tonight, we do not fight for glory, we fight for our families. For every child sleeping behind these mountains, for every drop of blood buried beneath this desert. Tomorrow, the enemy will come with numbers, rage, and darkness. But we have something they will never understand. This is our land. And if this desert demands our blood, then let history remember, we gave it willingly. At sunrise, the horizon turned black. Thousands upon thousands of warriors stormed across the desert. No discipline, no mercy, only chaos. Dust swallowed the sky as the Black Army advanced like a living storm. In the distance, the Silver Warriors waited silently. Then suddenly, The horns sounded, and the desert exploded. Horses thundered across the battlefield. Steel collided against steel. Arrows darkened the sky. Men screamed. Warriors fell. The sand turned red beneath thousands of feet. This was no longer war. This was survival. The Black Army pushed forward like wildfire. Wave after wave crashed into the silver lines. But the defenders refused to break. Even wounded warriors rose again. Even dying soldiers kept fighting, because behind them stood their homeland. Then the battlefield fell silent. The Black King entered the war. Mounted on a dark horse, covered in black steel, he rode through the smoke like death itself. Wherever his sword moved, silver warriors fell. The silver commander rode forward alone. Two armies stopped to watch. The desert winds screamed around them. One fought for conquest, the other fought for home. Then the swords met.
Look,
again,
the Black Army is moving into the ravine.
Until
They're
both
attempting
warriors
a
stood
flank.
covered in dust,
Send word
blood,
to the
and
general.
exhaustion. But the silver warriors saw their commander still standing, and something changed. Fear disappeared. The defenders charged with everything they had left, one final push, one final sacrifice. As the sun rose over the battlefield, the Black Army was gone. The desert became silent once again. Thousands had fallen, fathers, brothers, sons, but the kingdom survived. And for generations, the story of the Silver Warriors lived on, not because they were the strongest, but because they refused to surrender. In the end, the desert remembered their names.
We push through the main gate here.
But we must secure the supply lines first. Agreed.
To victory! Together!